We should be streaming across all of our channels, so Veronika's channels, my channels, and also across Briana K's channels. So if you are joining us on Briana's YouTube and Facebook groups that she has connected to us, you might not know who we are. I'm Hannah from Hand Crochet, and this is Veronika from Blue Star Crochet, and we are the hosts of the Crochet Garments with Confidence Summit. Gosh, that's hard to say, isn't it, when you're this weekend, and we have just had Briana's amazing presentation about flat garments, flat panels to make garments with.
Yes.
And Briana has something that's come up. She is hoping to join us, but if she doesn't, we are here to answer all of your questions. Sorry, so come on in. Ask us. Oh, there's people chatting already. I haven't got the chat up. Sorry, everyone. Hi. Yeah. Oh, Michelle's here. You found us. I saw you watching, Michelle. Hello from Texas, sorry. Angela's here. Hi, everyone. Hi, Angela. Let us know what you thought of the presentation. What were your take-home points and what you would like to ask us. We are here for you. So come and ask us what you like. But we have one important thing to update you on, don't we?
Yes, we do. So we have had a couple of questions from our people that purchased the VIP ticket. And if you've been struggling kind of where to go and what link to click and where we are at that moment for the live weekend summit, we have added the links to the designer's presentation inside the Plan Your Summit weekend module. So if you log into your VIP dashboard, go into the Plan Your Summit weekend, and we have added just a couple of quick links for today, and the rest will be added later on tonight, ready for tomorrow and for Sunday. So if you go into the Plan Your Summit weekend, and the next presentation coming up is the fabulous Salena from American Crochet Association, and there is a link right there next to her name. So if you click on that link, that's when her presentation is going to premiere for this live weekend. You of course have got the presentation inside the VIP section as well, but just to make it easier for you guys to join us and to know where we are at that moment, that's the link you can click. And then of course the live Q&A, people are finding us luckily, because I can see people coming in with the comments, so the live Q&A will be in all the usual places after.
Lovely. We have people from Texas, from SC, so I'm assuming that's South Carolina. My geography is terrible, my knowledge is terrible, but thank you for the links. No problem at all. And we have our first question. Hurrah. Which construction type, bottom up or cuff to cuff, if we wanted to use different stitch combinations? Amazing presentation. Yes, when Veronika and I watched Briana's, obviously we got to see all the content way before. We watched Briana's and we were like, wow, like those diagrams and the way she just builds and builds and builds the knowledge. There's so much, like they're so simple, yet they can be so complex. They can go wherever you want them to go. They can go, can't they? So what do you think then, bottom up or cuff to cuff?
For different stitch combinations, it depends where you want to place the different stitch combinations. That's the main thing. And obviously it depends on the actual stitch combination, because then you have to decide which way you want the stitch to face as well. How tall is the stitch? Are the stitches kind of smaller? So it really depends what different stitch combinations you want to use, because as an example, if you're using the shell stitch, my personal preference would be to kind of work bottom up. So you've got the shell stitch kind of facing
the orientation, isn't it? Yeah,
facing up. But then when you go over to the back panel, you'll have the kind of shell stitch upside down. So it is a tricky question to answer if you don't really know the stitch combinations you would like to use. But yeah, both of those constructions could work if those stitches are kind of like universal, that they look just as good upside down or left to right, if that makes sense. So I think it would really depend on the stitch.
I think also if you were doing cuff to cuff, you'd need to really think carefully about the placement of it, because if you're going cuff to cuff, like you have to have it in the right section of the sweater or whatever it is you're making, don't you, for it to run properly. You couldn't you couldn't do a section here and then just randomly change and then not have it symmetrical, if that makes sense. So I think it would require a bit more thought beforehand for the cuff to cuff, but you could definitely make it work, definitely. But bottom up, I think you could be a bit more organic, perhaps, couldn't you, about where you use the different stitches?
Yeah,
definitely. Oh, Julia's saying absolutely loved Briana's presentation. Yes,
you did too. It was one of those you couldn't take your eyes off it because you would like miss something important in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, definitely. And I kind of think it as well, it kind of busts some of the myths about, flat garments not necessarily having good shaping to them, or not necessarily being adaptable, or not being very easy for beginners. But actually, they really are. You just have to know the construction and we've said this before in the other presentations, haven't we already? You just need to know how it's going to be made, how it's going to come together. And I've started doing that actually in all of my video tutorial packs. I begin with this is the construction. You have to understand how you, like this yoke, for example, you have to understand how we put the yoke together first, and then where you can adjust for it to fit for you, etc. So it's
that is the great thing about, I always kind of say that when you purchase a pattern, I know people are so eager to kind of jump in and start making and, get the gauge swatch out of the way and dive into the pattern. But just so you know what is coming, I honestly tell people to kind of read through the pattern. Don't read stitch by stitch, but just kind of try to visualize the journey of the pattern. Like you start with the back panel and then this and then that, and then that kind of gives you the continuity and how that's going to work and how the whole sweater is just going to come together. So that's really great thing to do as well before you dive in.
Definitely. Oh, and Tina's here with us saying, I'm currently working on the granny square jumper, and I have to say I'm not now looking forward to the seaming it together. Oh dear, Tina, did you see Sarah's presentation, the seaming presentation? It's an awesome one. But these things, they are a bit scary sometimes, aren't they? Anything that you try for the first time is a bit scary, isn't it? But what's the worst that's going to happen? You're going to have a go, and it might not be exactly how you want it first time, but that's fine. It doesn't matter. It absolutely doesn't matter.
And like you said, it's a trial and error. So you can always kind of just pull it back out and try a different way. And
Yeah, definitely. And Michelle, the lovely Michelle from Tales of Knots, is here saying depends on if you want vertical stripes or horizontal stripes, and that's the bottom up or cuff to cuff. It's really, really important, isn't it, to know, like you're saying about the stitch direction. There's lots of, I really like the cuff to cuff and using really simple stitches that then end up look like they're knitted, because then you've got the rows that are stacked up above each other and they look really awesome. So it's a magic formula, isn't it? And the best way perhaps I think to do it is just find a pattern that by a really good designer that you like, and go with their, and trust that their construction is the right construction for that stitch.
And to be honest, to throw the spanner in the works, I actually did my Christie sweater, which is a combination of cuff to cuff and then bottom up. So
I love it. Briana talked about that, didn't she? She was just like, it can be all sorts. Yeah,
absolutely. So you kind of work the top of the panel cuff to cuff, and then the rest of the front and back panel is work kind of from, you join onto the top panel and then work your way down. So it's a combination of both, and this is probably where it would be really handy for using the different stitches, because I use different types of stitches for the two sections, and those face, it kind of worked cuff to cuff, face different way to the ones work bottom up, and it worked really well. So that if the stitch doesn't quite work particular way, you can use it in a different section and work it a different way.
Definitely. And Renee said, I love this. I need to adjust for bust size, and I didn't know about adjusting in the front only. Yeah, like there's so many tips and tricks, and there are so many things that you can do. But, and again, this is why we've called it confidence in making garments, because until you know, and until someone says to you, yeah, you can definitely have a go at that, like how do you know that you can do that until you know?
Yeah,
all these things in crochet, isn't it? It's like when we in designing as well, through my design journey as well, like you do things a certain way because you're like, well, that's how I think it should be done, or that's how I was taught that it should be done. but there are many ways to skin a cat, aren't there? You know, there's many ways, although there are standard ways of crocheting things and standard ways of designing things. That doesn't mean that you have to follow the rules at all. And essentially you're making this for you or for the person, you know, that in your life that you're making this for. It has to fit them. You have to figure out a way for it to fit them. And we were just talking to Michelle, weren't we, from Two Brothers Blankets, and she was saying, ask the designer. That's the whole point of purchasing a pattern or using a pattern from a designer, is that you're also then able to tap into them because they have poured their heart and soul. I mean, like the amount of hours that we spend working on patterns and developing them and thinking about, well, I could do it like this, but or trying it like this and it doesn't work. So rather than you trying it and coming up against, oh, that doesn't work, the designers probably realized it doesn't work like that. So contact them and find out why they did it a certain way and if you could do X, Y, and Z to change it.
Yeah,
definitely. And then we have, oh, Nessa's back. Hello, Nessa. It was a wonderful presentation. I have to watch it a few times. I wasn't able to visualize the construction for the cardigan with the mosaic at the bottom. What type of construction is used? So I believe it was like two panels that were for the front and back.
Yeah.
And they get seamed at the sides, and then the bottom of it works along in one long strip. So the bottom of it will be the width of your back, but then also a front and a front. So it's basically just like making wraps around. It's like making basically a blanket, isn't it? Doing the mosaic in a blanket form, and then just adding the bits of the garment onto it that you need.
Yeah. I think that was one of the things that Briana said in her presentation, just to keep the mosaic kind of in a continuous one large row, so you don't have to break it up for the different panels. I think that was the reason Briana said she did it as a one long panel across the whole bottom, back, and the front, to kind of wrap it around to keep the mosaic pattern all nice and neat. So I believe that was the construction. I think we got it, Hannah. I think that
I think we're there. I think we've got it, definitely. And then, the Lopsided Crofter is asking, I have a question. I have many of Briana's flat garment designs. I've noticed that many of them do not have a lot of built-in ease. Is that because of the construction? Does the construction, and then it carries on the next bit, create its own ease? Now, I don't know. I mean, it's a design preference, isn't it, as to how much ease we add. The construction shouldn't. Well, actually, perhaps it does create more ease, because actually, if you're doing a flat panel, we were just talking about this before, weren't we? If you do the back and the front all in one go, and therefore you don't have any shoulder seams at all, then that actually does end up with more ease and more flex in it, because you haven't got solid seams at the shoulders. So in a way, or if you're doing side to side, you might have a slightly stretchier stitch that then gives you more width stretch. I've got a few designs like that I've designed purposefully, that actually they don't have that much ease technically, but then once they're on, they do actually stretch to accommodate. So I think it might be a combination of factors, perhaps.
Yeah, I mean, but ease, you could actually adjust the ease by kind of switching the size as well. So I'm like, Briana, of course, goes by the Craft Yarn Council sizing as well. So, you know, the difference between the sizes, if you wanted more ease in your finished cardigan or sweater, you could then just go up a size, and that doing a larger size would give you more room if that's what you're after. So that would be another way to do that as well.
Yep, definitely. And then Ray is saying that a swatch of stitch combinations would be the best, as you can orientate to see your preference. Definitely. Whenever I do swatches, I will spin them around, I will change them around, and I will figure out. And actually, some of them as well, you can use on the diagonal as well. You can use on the bias. You could use it the corner to corner. That's an amazing way as well of adding different stretch and different dynamics to fabric, and using the fiber in a way that perhaps you might not think of using it.
Yeah, I mean, swatches are just, I always say it is like a little crystal ball of crochet. When you do your gauge swatch, it will tell you so much about the finished garment, you know, the drape, the stretch, and how the fabric is going to behave, how it's going to sit on your body. Is it going to kind of be like a cardboard box stuck on you, or is it going to be nicely molded to the shape of your body? So doing a swatch of those stitches just to work out the orientation as well, that's another great way to kind of do that.
Definitely. If someone's saying they're working on the hummingbird cardie and the last front panel, any suggestions on how to contain the garment when it's almost complete and so large and heavy? Yes, this is the thing, isn't it? When things are made, or like whether you're doing top down or side to side, whatever you're doing, like if you're making it all in a one, it is quite tricky, isn't it? I know that some people put them like the actual, like the rest of it into a bag, don't they? Into a canvas bag. That's normally what I do. Or just, I normally have a child or a dog next to me that decides to drape it across themselves and wear half of it. But yeah, they are far less portable, aren't they, when you're making an all-in-one. So yeah, other than using a bag to contain it, I don't know of any other tips. Do you?
I would really recommend not letting it stretch too much. So whether you need to fold it on your lap while you work on that one part, or like Hannah said, put it in a bag so it doesn't get kind of pulled and stretched out of proportion. So yeah, just don't let that stretch too much, because that will kind of stretch out of proportion. So yeah, just fold it into your lap, like like if you have a cat on your lap, just have the pile of sweater on your lap, or place it in a bag to stop it stretching. Yeah,
definitely. And we have Joanne saying, I love her presentation, a few aha moments. Yes, most definitely.
It's definitely one to watch over and over, and just let all that information sink in, because there was just so much of it. It's
Gosh, I'm going through. Oh, there's lots of comments about ease here. I'm trying to read them all. About saying garments have different ease. Yes, absolutely. People not saying about what the ease. Oh, okay. So I think I've got the gist of what we're talking about now. I think I've got, saying about, hang on, I've lost it. Schematics, there we are. But saying about schematics don't show ease built in. And that's why I'm asking. So the schematics for a pattern, whether it's written there in black and white that this has this much ease, or that doesn't have, that has that much ease, they're included within the schematic, aren't they? Or they are within mine anyway, of, if you're making this size, then the finished item, it's the finished item, not your body measurements. And then it's just you then have to figure out, basically, or I'm a bust size 36. So if I make one that measures then 40 inches, it will have 4 inches of positive ease on me. Yeah. Does that make sense? Yeah. It's use the measurement from the schematic and compare it to your body measurement in order to find out how much ease it's going to have for you. And like you said, Veronika, if you then feel, well, actually, I want a bit more ease than that, then you work the next size up.
Yeah,
definitely. Right, I'm getting there. Oh, and then Catherine's saying, I never thought about having a shorter front than the back. Great design idea. Yeah, I've done that before, where I put a longer cuff at the back, a longer rib, and then it's a split rib. And that's actually a really nice way. If you have slightly wider hips, as I do, like you seam down to where your waist is, and then you actually have a split rib at the bottom of it, and then that accommodates for a bit of a bigger hip area. That's worked really well for me before. I've scrolled into the wrong place now. Oh dear. Oh, we've got someone watching from a truck in California. Hello.
Lovely.
Yeah. Cool. There we are. Oh, here we are. Michelle again from Tales Not, saying the flat garments she designs are very easy to customize, as she mentioned. So you can add additional rows for cuff to cuff or extra stitches if bottom up. Yeah, and this is the great thing about it. Once you get more accustomed to crocheting garments and crocheting, if you're especially crocheting for yourself, you know your sizes, you know how much you want things to be in the bust area, in the shoulder area, in the length, and all that kind of stuff. Then you can actually be quite free and easy with flat garments, I think, can't you? Then? Yeah. And Briana showed that, didn't she, on the, make sure if you're doing a side to side, for example, you add in symmetrically the stitches, and don't add too much on one side and then think, oh, I don't actually need any on the other side, because you do. It needs to be symmetrical for your neckline and stuff. Yeah.
Otherwise you'll have one very, very long sleeve and one quite short.
Yes. Oh, here's a good idea. A wicker basket beside me, or a laundry basket. That's a brilliant idea. Yeah, just to keep it contained and stop it from
That's it.
stretching and
And I
stuff.
think we got a tip from Michelle as well to work on a table, so you're not supporting the whole weight on your current stitches. Yeah,
That's a great idea.
yeah,
I can't work very well at I can't crochet like sitting upright very well,
yeah.
very
No,
easily. I
I
find it
don't
really
crochet like
hard.
that either. No,
Yeah.
but I suppose you have to make sacrifices to
You
stop
do. For
the
your
work stretching.
yeah. Yeah, and Dana here has said, "I like working at a table." That's really interesting. So what do you sit at, like a proper upright chair? That's really interesting, isn't it? But then I
Mm,
suppose it depends where you normally sit to crochet.
yeah,
I'm normally not laying down, but
yeah. Kind of slouch back in
sat
your chair.
comfortably on the
Yeah,
sofa. In which case, my lap is the table. My lap.
that's it. Yeah. Or you do get one of those kind of lap tables, don't you? You can just
Yeah,
place it
yeah,
across
yeah,
the
yeah,
front. So you can have the best of both. You can be kind of slouched back in your chair,
yeah.
but have the little portable table, the
You
lap
could.
table on top of you, and just put your work on top of there. Yeah, that's a
You
good
could,
idea.
with good back support, very important, very important. Wherever you're sat, you need good back support and good arm support as well, don't you? I saw an Instagram post earlier of a really famous actress from the UK who's just taken up crochet, and she's got her arm all taped up, and she's like, "I've got a crochet injury." Terrible crochet injury, and
Oh
she's
dear.
all strapped up and taped up. She's a regular actress on one of our UK soaps over here, and she said apparently everyone at lower work laughed at her because she went in with a crochet injury. And I was like, they're real. They really do happen.
Absolutely. Yes.
Oh, Michelle, this is perfect. We're nearly run out of time, but this is perfect to end on. At the risk of too much information, my chest gets in the way of working my lap. I do not have that problem, Michelle. So this is why it can just literally sit on my lap, and no problems for me. Oh, so funny. Brilliant.
Right.
I think we've got through as many topics as we can. If we didn't answer your question directly, hopefully we've covered the topic at least. And I hope you've enjoyed. That was such a great presentation. And so if you're on the free, I'll put the links up, shall I?
Yeah.
For where, if you haven't already registered and you're catching this and thinking, what on earth are they talking about? This is where you can register to watch the rest of it. We're here all weekend, Saturday and Sunday. And then if you log into your course, once you have purchased either the VIP ticket that has lifetime access or the free one that lasts for this weekend, you can go into your course login and you'll be able to find out where the next presentation will be happening. And you'll also have chance to re-watch Briana's video again. If you're on the free version, you'll have until, when is it, like 24 hours time?
24 hours from the
24 hours time in order to watch that. But if you're on the VIP one, you can just watch it as many times as you like on repeat.
That's right. Yeah.
Cool. Lovely. Right. So pop on over to your course platform, find out the link for the next video, which is, as we say, Selena from the Crochet Association. And that is talking about a similar but very different topic about making crochet garments from rectangles.
Simple rectangle.
So come and join us on the live session straight after that.
Yes. Then we'll see you very soon.
Bye.